Hello everyone, it is Catherine Middlebrooks of BRB Yoga coming to you from a snowy day in Durango, Colorado. All right, today I wanted to talk about, this is for those of you who are doing everything right for your core, right? You're working on strengthening your transverse abdominals. You're working on getting your alignment correct. You are paying attention to the way you're moving throughout your day, and still your diastasis won't go away. Well, what else can you do? What else can you do to help encourage that to close? So today we're going to talk about myofascial release, massaging of the abdomen to help promote movement of those muscles back together. Okay, so those of you who don't know, diastasis recti is a separation of the abdominal muscles, the top layer, the rectus abdominis. You have the connective tissue down the center, that's your linea alba. When you get pregnant, those muscles spread apart, the connective tissue gets thin and weak, and sometimes it doesn't come back together. Okay, I talk a lot in lots of my other videos about things that you can do to get your core to come back together. And so if you're doing all those things and it's still not working, well, what might be going on? Okay, here's what happens. We have a lot of stuff changing in our core, right? From pregnancy, often multiple pregnancies. Our belly is growing and then contracting. And what can happen is that we can get fascia, which are these layers of tissue in our body that get tight and restricted. Also, you can get muscles that become dominant. So for example, when the deepest layer of abdominal muscles gets weak and isn't working, sometimes the other muscles will start overworking. So the rectus abdominis or the obliques will become overactive. And when that happens, it's almost like those muscles are kind of chronically turned on and not chilling out. Now you would think, well, what's wrong with that? That's good that my stomach muscles are strong. Well, no, in fact, those muscles being overactive can get in the way of the deeper core muscles from working. And when those muscles are firing, it can actually keep your abdominal muscles from coming back together. So what do we do? Well, it's really simple, and simple isn't always easy, but what you can do is just begin to release some of the tightness and tenderness that you find in your belly. So I'm gonna just walk through some ways to do this. You can do it with your shirt on. You can take your shirt up and do it like skin to skin. If you do that, you might want some coconut oil or massage oil so that your fingers move nice and easily. I'm gonna keep my shirt down for this one just because I'm still not 100% comfortable just showing everybody on the internet my stomach. Okay, so all you're going to do is basically begin to move your hands over your belly, moving everything to the midline, okay? So you can start up by the ribs and start moving the hands around. I like to start from one side and kind of go down the center line of the body, taking everything into the midline until I get all the way down to my pubic bone, and then I pull up towards the midline. Now, as you do this, you may very well find, oh, hey, there's some tenderness there. If you find that, then just sit with that for a moment and try and gently with your fingers allow those muscles to soften. Again, these patterns of tension that we hold, when we hold tension in our body for years at a time, it gets really stuck in there. Those muscles are just so used to being on that sometimes you have to gently encourage them to go. Okay, so I would do one side and then I would come to the other side, again, starting right along the rib cage, rubbing into the center. Again, anywhere you feel tightness and tenderness, sit with that. If you have a massage, if you have a C-section scar or any sort of scar on your abdomen from any sort of abdominal surgery, you'll probably find some tenderness there. You'd want to sit with that for a little bit of extra time. Okay, so now I've come from the inside. Now I want to come down the center line of the body. So this is where the two sides of the abdomen come together. It's where the connective tissue is. And so I would really just start kind of coming down the center. Again, you might feel like, oh, it feels pretty thick, or like there's knots there. And if so, then you can start going across those knots lengthwise, coming down. Any spot of tenderness, you just sit with it. And again, I like to go towards the belly button. So then when I get to the belly button, I can come down to my pubic bone and then come back up toward the center. And again, you can come across. Now, just know, if you're not in the habit of paying attention to your belly or touching your belly, this can bring up a lot of feelings. A lot of us will find that we feel fear or kind of shame or disappointment when we start connecting to this part of your body. If you're feeling those feelings, please allow yourself to feel them. Don't shove them down. The more you do this, and the more you can really take in your mind like a loving attitude and infuse that into your hands, the more effective this is going to be, right? So we're not just like, oh, I'm just massaging and moving the stuff around. No, I want you to really imagine like I am giving loving touch to my body. I find especially when I come to my pelvis and I really put love, the attention of love. Oh, isn't this so appropriate for Valentine's Day? Didn't even think about that. When I put the intention of love into my pelvis, it's very powerful for me. It feels very, very necessary and important. Okay, so that's basically it. So you've gone from the outside in, you've gone up and down, and you've gone across. You can also take circular motions, and you can do this, you can dig your fingers in, or if it just feels nice to you, you can do really soft hand. This isn't going to move the fascia at all, but it can be just nice to kind of build the heat and energy within your core. And once you've done that, you can bring your hands together at your low belly. Take a big breath in. And then open your mouth and let go of any negativity that came up. And again, inhale and let it go. Yeah, so that's it, really. Just using your hands to manipulate and loosen up the fascia, loosen up the muscles that are overworking or tight and locked down. It can do wonders to get those muscles coming back together. Sometimes we're just restricted in our tissues. And so getting blood flow, releasing some of those restrictions can be very, very powerful in allowing the muscles to move back to where they're supposed to be. All right, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful, love-filled day. And let me know if you have any questions about this. Bye, guys.